Good evening. We call to order our regular session of the West Valley City Council. We note that we have 5 members of the council present. Councilman Vincent and Councilman Nordfeld are excused tonight. We will have an opening ceremony. We'll turn to Councilman Corey Rushton for that.
Thank you, Mayor. And as with many opening ceremonies, we usually try to pick something that's timely or going on in the news or something to that effect. And up until a few years ago, and in large thanks to my West Valley City neighborhood, I've discovered that today is actually Bastille Day, celebrated by French and the French revolutionaries, as I have some neighbors that are from France and educated the neighborhood on the meaning of it. And since our neighborhood gets together often in those years to have a little picnic and block party barbecue to celebrate Bastille Day, I've learned some more about it, and grateful to that. Is our in the United States, our Bill of Rights, our Declaration of Independence, goes hand in hand with the French Declaration of the Rights of Man and Citizen. I grew out of the same enlightenment period. And also, as my wife and I visited Mount Vernon last year, we were the crown jewel in Mount Vernon is the Bastille Key, which was given to George Washington by Lafayette, concluding the American Revolution. And so in my celebrating Bastille Day, it's also a big celebration of the diversity and the people that make up our West Valley City, and help us to all be strong in our diversity and our unity and our pride. So with that, knowing Bastille Day, will you please rise and recite the Pledge of Allegiance with me?
Thank you. I thought for a minute he was going to sing the French national anthem, but
That's what I was hoping for.
Next we have a couple of recognitions that we would like to take care of. We'll turn first to Councilwoman Lang for our Employee of the Month Award, Marlene Winburn from the Public Works Department.
Okay, so with that, with the merging of sanitation and utility billing, Marlene has responded with courage and flexibility in adapting to a very different work environment, sharing details about past practices and incorporating new methods into established systems. Marlene is the model of dependability. She is always at work, ready to go at the appointed time. She strives to follow all policies and rules with exactness. Marlene strives daily to share how things work with customers, working to improve the ability to stay in touch with customers by tirelessly making sure information is up to date with every customer she works with. This accomplishment, while creating work orders to meet needs and taking payments over the phone. This has been Marlene's manner of service to the citizens of West Valley City for more than 2 decades. She serves as an honorable employee or example to all of us and is deserving of the honor of recognition as West Valley City's Employee of the Month. And this was submitted by 2 of the managers of the Public Works Department, Jeff Norsack and Paul Love. And I just have to add, she used to be in charge of the dumpsters, and every year I would call to schedule our dumpsters. Now that's not my job anymore, so I don't get to talk to her as much, but I can attest that she does do a good job over there. So thank you. And if you'll come up to the front.
Okay, next we have the Division of the Court Award for the Victim Services and the Legal Department. We'll turn to Councilman Rushton.
Thank you, Mayor. It's my honor to read the Quarterly Division Award for the second quarter of 2015 to the folks in Victim Services. And the nomination was submitted by City Attorney Eric Bunderson. And I will read that to you now. It says, I would like to nominate the West Valley City Victim Services for the Division of the Quarter. Victim Service willingness to always go over and above expectations and their excellent service to the citizens of West Valley City should be recognized. Here are 3 recent examples, all from the same night, that illustrate that excellence. First, Mariah Lopez assisted a victim who was intimidated by obtaining a protective order and wouldn't have been able to follow through the process without assistance. Because she did not have transportation, she provided transportation to the court and stayed with her for 4 hours to get the protective order. During this time, she also discovered that the victim hadn't filled her prescriptions because she didn't have a vehicle, so she drove her to 2 different pharmacies to make sure she get them filled. Marari then reported to work 2 hours early the following day to return to the courthouse so a judge could sign and finalize the paperwork for that protective order. Second, Alexandra Perez was called out to a scene where a domestic violence victim had been struck in the head multiple times. The victim asked Alexandra if she would go to the hospital with her because she didn't have any family or friends in Utah. Alexandra stayed with the victim while she received medical treatment and afterwards called 3 different shelters in order to find space for the victim since it wasn't safe for her to return home. Alexandra also purchased food for the victim, paid out of her own money before taking the victim to the shelter. By the time she returned to the office, it was after 9:00 p.m. Third, Charlotte Smith had a victim who arrived at the office with her 10-month-old baby after walking in the rain. Charlotte gave the victim her own gym clothes and some blankets. Then she called 4 different shelters, all of which were full. So the victim called her father in New Mexico and asked him to pick her up. Her father agreed to pick her up the following day. Charlotte arranged for the victim and her baby to spend the night at a motel and then gave the victim some money taken from her own pocket to buy dinner. Charlotte remained in the office after working hours to make sure the victim and her baby were taken care of. West Valley City Victim Services and the City of West Valley City are fortunate to have such dedicated and caring victim advocates. All of the hard-working advocates have similar stories and the entire division should be honored.
Thank you. And we have more staff, but they're on the call. We're on call. And get another busy day. Thank you. Thank you.
Next, we have our public comment period. No one signed up to speak. And in fact, looks like everyone's leaving except for our immediate staff. So, any comments from our city manager?
No, sir, thanks.
Comments from the city council?
Thank you, Mayor.
Councilman Bueller?
Just listening to that division of the quarter report, it seems like we're pondering, who we are and what we want to include in our monumentation program. Something like that would be certainly meaningful and perhaps inspiring to the residents of West Valley City if it was some sort of a relief statue or something else that might commemorate the good work that's being done day by day. And I was listening to the recognition and thought, nobody here should have to dig into their pocket to do their job, and yet I think that's done without having to. It's done because people want to. People want to be of service, and that's the kind of thing that we should acknowledge and recognize more. And, you know, we don't have anybody here. Maybe there are a couple people watching Channel 17 tonight, but we don't maybe get the word out enough where some sort of monumentation would be looked at over and over and seen by various people over time. So just throw that into the discussion.
Okay, any other comments? With that then, we'll go to the rest of the business on our agenda, Resolution 15-114. This is to approve the purchase of a new Timeco 600 street sweeper from Intermountain Sweeper for use by Public Works Department. This is it's valued at $238,000, but with trade-in, the fiscal impact, I guess, is only $153,000. That's the amount at the top here. With an $85,000 trade-in. And so this is on a 4-year rotation. We note that these are items that we have discussed in previous council meetings. This will be the second time for us to review these. This is a fairly routine and scheduled replacement. With that introduction then, to the council.
Mayor, I move for approval of Resolution 15-114.
Second.
We have a motion that's seconded. It's properly before us. Any further discussion or comment? Seeing none, we'll place it for a vote. All in favor of approving Resolution 15-114 to purchase the street sweeper, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Motion passes unanimously. The resolution is approved. Next we go to Resolution 15-119. This is to accept a proposal from Workers' Compensation Fund to renew our program with them where they manage our workers' compensation program for the city. And so with that, this one, and I forgot last week, the one I needed to read was always the second one instead of the first one. So I got goofed up. But they handle and have been able to save, because they handle this work for us, a significant amount of money, have been able to hold our premiums down. And so this is a good thing. This is the annual renewal, I guess, of this that goes forward each time. With that introduction then, for our workers' compensation program here in the city, turn to the council.
I move for approval of Resolution 15-119.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. It's properly before us to approve. Any further discussion or comment? Okay, then we'll place it for a vote. All in favor of approving Resolution 15-119 for the renewal of the Workers' Compensation Fund program, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Motion passes unanimously. The resolution is approved. Next on our consent agenda, we have 4 items. 3 of them are appointments to the Clean and Beautiful Committee for Matthew Lovato, Jody Rushton, Porter, and Misty Smith. And then also for 4-year terms, or no, 2 of them are all 3 of them are for 4-year terms. And then the appointment of Matthew Lovato as the chair for this next year. Those are the 4 items on there. And unless there's a motion, we'll just take those as a group to the council.
Mayor, I move approval of the 4 resolutions of the consent agenda.
Second.
We have a motion and a second before us to approve the consent agenda for those 4 items. Any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll place it for a vote. All in favor of approving the consent agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Motion passes unanimously. The agenda is approved, those 4 consent resolutions. I don't believe we have a need for a executive session, so that brings us to the last item on our agenda. One final motion.
Motion to adjourn.
We have a motion to adjourn. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Motion passes unanimously. We are adjourned. Thank you.